Nagaram district of Andhra Pradesh. A total of 13 people have died while over 50 people have been injured. This is according to the Coast Railway Services that they are looking into the rescue operations, especially when it comes to the accident that happened in that area where trains were derailed as buses and trains have been arranged for the rescue of the people in that location. These are the visuals coming in from the accident site in the morning. It is being said that at least 13 people have died in this derailment as such, and it is a tragic incident that happened in Nagaram district of Andhra Pradesh where trains derailed, resulting in complete chaos on that particular line. The CRPO of the East Coast Railway has said that the rescue operations is over and that buses and trains are being arranged for those passengers who went stranded because of this train accident. Well, these are the visuals coming in from early morning itself as to what is the kind of situation that is there at Nagaram, and what we see is that these trains have derailed in Nagaram and it resulted in the deaths of at least 13 people. The situation is such that the rescue operations have ended, but one of the things that has come to light is that there is a huge logistical arrangement that is being carried out, and this logistical arrangement is to ensure that those passengers who were completely stranded at that location, they are finding themselves in a peculiar situation where they have to in fact go for and find out transport for themselves. For this, the railway authorities have decided to get in buses and also auxiliary trains to let them reach their destinations. Two trains in fact had collided in Andhra Pradesh, Nagaram. It is being said that at least 13 people have died in this particular accident that has happened. Early morning visuals showed the devastation that has happened after the train collision that took place. This particular train collision happened because it was both were on the same line. These are in fact the drone shots that show the kind of destruction that has happened because of this train collision. The train collision between the Visakhapatnam-Palasa passenger train and the Visakhapatnam-Ragada passenger train caused a derailment between towns of Alamanda and Kantapakale in Andhra Pradesh, and it is being said that the accident occurred after one of the passenger trains overshot a signal. Now, this is what the early reports are saying. Now, the death toll, as I said, had reached in fact 13. The Prime Minister has in fact announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh from the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund for the next families of each dead and rupees 50,000 for the injured in the Andhra Pradesh train accident. In June, a triple train collision had nearly killed 300 people in Odisha, which is the neighboring state to Andhra Pradesh. And this is another situation where we see that two trains collide, and both of them were on the same track, as we understand. And this is because one of the trains overshot a signal. 13 people have died because of this derailment. Coaches were in fact seen stranded. There are reports coming in that in fact arrangements are being made on the ground to ensure that those who are stranded at that location in Nagaram is in fact taken to their destinations. Buses as well as auxiliary trains have also been arranged. The rescue operations, meanwhile, has ended, is what we understand, and this particular train collision happening because of a technical error is what we understand, that one of the trains overshot the signal, and that is what the early investigation is saying about this particular accident. However, investigations are going on to determine as to what exactly could have happened on the ground. These are early reports saying that what could have led to this particular accident. Let's listen into what the PRO had to say with regard to this accident.
कैजुअलिटी का खबर है हमारे पास। ऑफिशियल इंफॉर्मेशन के अनुसार 29 लोगों का इंजरी है, और जो इंजर्ड हैं उनको हमने शिफ्ट कर लिया है हॉस्पिटल्स में जो अलमंडा है और विजयनगरम। प्रेजेंटली हमारे पास जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है उस हिसाब से कैंसिलेशन 12 ट्रेन का अभी तक हुआ है। फर्दर अगर हम लोगों का होता है तो आप लोगों के माध्यम से हम बताएंगे। डाइवर्जन 15 ट्रेन का हुआ है और जो शॉर्ट ओरिजिनेशन या शॉर्ट स्टॉपेज जिसे कहते हैं, पार्शियल कैंसिलेशन कहते हैं, वो 7 ट्रेनों का हुआ है। हमने पूरी कोशिश की है कि वहाँ लोग फंस ना जाएं, इसलिए बस का अरेंजमेंट किया है। उनको श्रीकाकुलम तक और विजयनगरम तक ले जाने के लिए बसेस हैं। ट्रेन भी जो निकलेगी वहां से तो उनको ताकि विजयनगरम तक एटलीस्ट पहुंच जाए और वहां से फिर पलासा और रायगढ़ दोनों के लिए हमने कोशिश किया है कि कैसे करें।
Well, the death toll in the Kalamassery explosion has risen to 3. 51 people have been injured in this blast incident that happened in a convention center in Kalamassery, which is in Kochi. A 12-year-old girl from Malayattur who was undergoing treatment has reportedly succumbed to her injuries. At least 2,000 people were in attendance for the 3-day convention. After panic, hue and cry, the injured were rushed to nearby hospitals, including Kalamassery Medical College. The cause behind this devastating incident remains unknown. It is being said that efforts are on to ensure that they actually find out what was the motive behind this particular attack. Most of the critically injured people have sustained serious burns and they have been rushed to nearby government hospitals and private hospitals where they are undergoing treatment. Now, the Kerala police has sounded a high alert across all 14 districts following the explosions in Kochi. The blast seems to have been caused by this IED, and they are saying that batteries and wires have been recovered from the location, is what sources say. The DGP of NIA, NSG, ATS teams and operatives have rushed to the site of the blast. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has termed the explosion that took place in Kochi's Kalamassery area as unfortunate, adding that all top officials from Ernakulam to collect details about the incident. Meanwhile, Kerala CM has also called for an all-party meeting on Monday, and this will be held at Thiruvananthapuram. Alerts have also been issued in bordering districts of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Security has been beefed up around churches in Delhi as well, and well as at metro stations.
അങ്ങേയറ്റം ദൗർഭാഗ്യകരമായ സംഭവമാണ് കളമശ്ശേരി നടന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്. അതിന്റെ മറ്റു വിവരങ്ങളൊക്കെ ശേഖരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ. എറണാകുളത്തുള്ള പോലീസ് ഉദ്യോഗസ്ഥരൊക്കെ അവിടെ എത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. DGP അടക്കമുള്ള ഉയർന്ന പോലീസ് ഉദ്യോഗസ്ഥർ അവിടേക്ക് പോയിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഏതാനും സമയം കൊണ്ട് അവിടെ എത്തുന്നവരെയുണ്ടാവും. മറ്റു കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പോൾ പറയാറായിട്ടില്ല. ഗൗരവമായി തന്നെ അതെടുത്തുകൊണ്ട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ നീക്കിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അല്ല, ആ വിവരങ്ങളൊക്കെ അവരെ അന്വേഷണത്തിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് കിട്ടേണ്ടതാണ്. ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരാൾ മരണപ്പെട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. 2 പേരുടെ നില കുറച്ച് ഗുരുതരമായ അവസ്ഥയിലുണ്ട്. മറ്റു ചിലർ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലുണ്ട്. എന്തായാലും അതിന്റെ മറ്റു വിവരങ്ങളൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് പിന്നീട് കിട്ടേണ്ടതാണ്. കിട്ടിയതിനു ശേഷം പറയും.
Today morning at 9:40 a.m. approximately, there was an explosion in Zamra International Convention Center, Kalamassery, in which 1 person died and 36 persons are undergoing treatment as per our information. In that convention center, Jehovah's Witness regional convention was happening, and all our senior officers, including the Commissioner of Police and others, are at the spot. They are investigating the matter. Our additional DG Law and Order is already on the way. He will be reaching soon, and myself will be reaching the incident place shortly, and we are examining the all angles, and we will find out who is behind this, and we will take very stringent action. At the same time, I would request everyone to maintain peace, remain calm, and I also request that no provocative posts or hate posts should be posted on the social media. If anybody is doing such thing, we will take very stringent action against them also. Thank you. Preliminary investigation shows it is a IED device, and we are examining it. At this stage, I cannot tell anything. Only after investigation, I can confirm you the details. Nobody spoke to me from the MHA.
You're going there right now?
I will be going there right now.
Sir, any
Okay.
special team is there?
We will be constituting a special team for this today itself.
Today.
Today, after I reach the spot, we will constitute a special team.
I was told that there were 2 blasts and there was a fire, consequence blast. First there was a major blast, second one was minor, and one lady died, completely burned, 100% burned, and 25 persons are in the hospital. Out of 25, 6 persons are in IC unit. 2,000, around 2,000. Immediately started from their own. And they had a evacuation plan. Usually they are requesting to their audience regarding the evacuation plan. That is why the accident is and casualties are less.
केरल में जहां एक और बम ब्लास्ट की घटना की मैं निंदा करता हूं, लेकिन उसके पीछे आपको ये भी देखना होगा, कुछ दिन पहले ही कांग्रेस का आशीर्वाद और एक तरह से कम्युनिस्टों के नाक तले समर्थन के साथ वहां पर हमास के आतंकवादी संगठनों के तकरीर करते हैं, ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम होता है, हजारों लोग इकट्ठे होते हैं और वहां की सरकार कार्रवाई नहीं करती है। आखिरकार ये कांग्रेस और कम्युनिस्ट, इनका समर्थन इनको क्यों? एक भी नेता राहुल गांधी जी से लेकर शशि थरूर जी तक या इनके पार्टी के अध्यक्ष हो, किसी ने भी उस पर कोई बात नहीं की, कोई सवाल नहीं खड़े किए, चुपचाप समर्थन दिया है। इन आतंकी संगठनों का इस तरह से भारत में तकरीर करना और जहां के सांसद श्रीमान राहुल गांधी हैं जिस राज्य से, उनका कुछ ना बोलना इनकी चुप्पी साफ दिखाती है। कांग्रेस चुपचाप इनको समर्थन कर रही है।
Incident of a bomb blast in community in Kochi.
Meanwhile, a CCTV footage that was collected by the police at the convention center showed a blue Baleno that was racing out of the convention center ahead of the blast. Police is investigating a blue car that sped out of Kalamassery convention center just before a series of blasts hit the meeting. It is believed that the person who planted the explosives may have used the car as a getaway. The car is also having a fake number plate that has also come under scrutiny. The blue Baleno, which was tracked on the CCTV cameras of the convention center, has attracted the eyes of the police. They are investigating as to finding out as to what led to this car speeding away just ahead of this particular blast. It is also being said that efforts are on to trace this particular car that has left the convention center in a hurry, is what some of the sources inside the police who've examined that CCTV footage are in fact trying to say. Meanwhile, the investigations are going on and the police said that as of now, they are collecting as much as details as possible, including electronic data from the area and also from the Kochi city as well. And it is being scrutinized to find out what further information could be taken. Meanwhile, it is also being said that the number plate on that car was considered to be fake, raising suspicions further on whether this was used as a getaway car. Now, who are the Jehovah's Witnesses? Well, the Jehovah's Witnesses is a millenarian Christian group which does not believe in Christian Trinity but believes in Jesus as Son of God and Jehovah as God, the following literal interpretation of the Bible, and have no priests and do not approve of traditional priesthood as such. And most of the Christian groups do not recognize them as Christian as such. Jehovah's Witnesses come under severe persecution as well in many countries, and also they were persecuted by the Nazis in Germany. The witnesses stand out as they do not join national armies as soldiers, and they want to stick to a neutral stand when it comes to wars between countries, and do not seek public offices or join politics, do not accept blood transfusion, and refuse to adhere to symbols of nationalism. Now, the witnesses believe that Armageddon is imminent and early establishment of God's kingdom is a pressing requirement. So they are considered to be exceptional and do not engage with any of the conventional governments in their countries, for which they have come under a lot of severe scrutiny. My colleague Jisha, in fact, joins us from Kerala. She brings us with the latest. Jisha, how well has the investigations progressed into this case? Of course, the police officers are quite tight-lipped, but one of the tensions that law and order agencies in Kerala are facing is the Facebook comments where people are just putting out theories after theories, and they have in fact warned, saying that they will take action against anyone who tries to vitiate the atmosphere in Kerala.
That's right. One of the major trouble the police currently facing is this, apart from the investigation, because a lot of communally polarizing comments and propaganda materials are going on. And initially, one of them said that they mistook this Jehovah's Witness with Jews and said this was an impact of the pro-Palestine solidarity events that is happening in Kerala. And some of the politicians also got similar sentiments. But police initially, from the start itself, has been saying that asking people to refrain from making unverified comments and claims, and not to cause any communally flaring remarks. And for that specific reason, today Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has convened an all-party meeting. And soon, after some time, a person has came up claiming that he was a disgruntled member of Jehovah's Witness and has been fighting for reforms within this sect. And he claimed that he was behind this. And now police are collecting evidences from him, and they have taken him to his house and other places where he claimed that he had purchased petrol and other explosives from some parts of Kochi. So the police are currently collecting evidence from him, but the arrest has not been recorded yet, because they are still probing whether someone outside has helped him, whether he has got help from anyone, either with the conspiracy or funding or any other things. He's an ordinary English teacher in Kochi, and has been living at a rented apartment in Tammanam in Kochi for the past few years. And so, since he is an ordinary person, his claims of deploying an IED device has raised a lot of questions. So police are looking for angles, including his internet search history and from where he sourced his things and like that. As per some of the latest information, police have got this visuals, the first visuals recorded by Martin on his phone, where he has recorded immediately after using this remote control to detonate the bomb. So these are some of the incriminating evidences that police have currently got, and central agencies are also probing this, and NSG commanders have just reached the site to inspect the blast site.
Also, Jisha, one of the factors over here, of course, we were talking about, there were arrests that were made from, several locations, including, from the railway stations. There was this picking up that is going on. But then one of the issues that has also come to light over here is that the political slugfest is happening. You have the CPM, going ahead and blaming the BJP blaming the CPM for what has happened, which could be an internal matter because of which this incident happened. So this is becoming more of politics than what actually happened on the ground at the Zamora Convention Center.
Is Kerala CM Pinarayi Vijayan, immediately after coming back from Delhi, has convened a press meet, and most of his press meet was about criticizing politicians, including Union Minister Rajesh Chandrasekhar, for making some early claims regarding, unverified claims regarding this blast. So initially, from police and state government authorities have initially said that you should refrain from making any unverified remarks, because some of them were targeting a particular community. So that was initially said that this is not going the right way. So everyone has to take a little bit of restraint and refrain from making any kind of remarks without police making any official statements. So even police, even media was a section of media was making claims like that, targeting some sections, and also stating that this has good connection with Israel-Palestine issue. So now the CPM leaders have openly come out against certain BJP leaders for making such claims, and saying that it was not appropriate for people holding certain posts to make such comments.
Well, also on one of the things that we are also looking at is that when it comes to not only the politics of this particular aspect of this thing, already there is a huge tension on based of this Israel-Palestine war, and we have seen rallies, counter rallies, then politics also happening at the same time. We have seen religious leaders making statements which are pro, Palestine as well as with regards to Israel as such. So when it comes to all these factors, at the moment, this blast has just created a lot of misinformation right now, and one of the cautious advice that's being given by the Kerala police is this, that do not come to your conclusion. There is a robust investigation happening, and they're also very tight-lipped. They're not leaving any information as such. Normally most of the journalists do tend to get a lot of information from sources within the police, but the police are very tight-lipped at every level. They're not revealing anything as to how far the investigation has gone. Even the chief minister has not revealed much about it. Only generic information is there. So as of now, it looks like it's a tight-lipped investigation that is going at the highest levels, isn't it?
Exactly, because initially itself it was clear that an IED device was used. So all it pointed to a terror terror incident. But so initially police was not jumping in any conclusion or giving any statements, except the fact that they said that it was an IED weapon used, and they are still probing, but they never revealed any terror angle or any details regarding that. They were very tight-lipped, and even no official confirmation have been given even regarding Dominic Martin. They said that there was such a confession from him, but they are not yet revealed any confirmed that he is the accused. He's still considered as a suspect. So police, and the state government are aware that if they rule out or confirm any kind of terror angle, it would be too early, and it would have severe impacts and severe backlash. So not just Kerala police, but central agencies are also involved in the probe. So they wanted only to have enough evidence before making any conclusion or any comments on this, because they don't want to avoid any kind of controversy, because already this has became a national headline, and so much speculations are happening on this.
Well, right now also, I'd like to tell my viewers that there is a stricture that is being said that refrain from commenting on Facebook or on any other sort of social media platform, as the Kerala police, in fact, watching on what is the kind of comments, if it's communally sensitive or it is, trying to vitiate the atmosphere of the state. Of course, action will be taken, because that is one thing that they have given. Jisha, before I let you go, another big question over here is that the opposition has seriously asked about whether there was intelligence failure. And of course, you had the DGP and ADGP coming out and saying that every organ of the police is functioning robustly, and that it was not an intelligence failure as such that has happened. How do of course, it's been used to tarnish the government, but how is it an intelligence failure that we're looking? Because we did see the explosions take place. So in a vitiated atmosphere as we see right now in Kerala, especially over the Israel-Palestine war, intelligence should have been much more robust.
Right. Police will have to answer a lot of questions, because if, as claimed by Dominic Martin, if this person has purchased so many equipment like even petrol and these detonators and these devices to make an IED device, then that raises serious questions against the police and the state government. That's definitely a major intelligence failure. And also they have to give answers to how an ordinary person, if that his claims are true, how he could do such a major thing at the heart of Kochi. We know that this is a prominent place, and this a major convention was happening there. So many people were involved. It is only 3 persons. 3 persons have lost life, but many are injured, and sometimes the death toll might increase. So it's a major, a major attack, a major blast has happened. So police definitely has to answer a lot of questions. And opposition is definitely like to raise this against the Home Department of Kerala, and as well as the chief minister who is holding the home portfolio will have to answer a lot of questions.
All right, thank you, Jisha, for in fact joining us and giving us all those details. We would in fact go ahead and find out as to how this particular issue is going to develop during the day. Meanwhile, Hamas leader is said to have given a speech, and that is also being considered right now when it comes to the situation that has happened in Kerala, especially the blast at the convention center. And one thing that has also come to light over here is that the Hamas leadership had given an address, a virtual address, at a pro-Palestine event organized by the Solidarity Youth Movement. The youth wing of Jamaat-e-Islami in Malappuram has stirred up a controversy. The event was organized on 28th October. The Solidarity Youth Movement raised the slogan which said uproot and bulldozer and apartheid Zionism during its rally, and attempted to strike a close relationship between the ideologies of Zionism and Hindutva. And the former head of Hamas, Mashal, addressed the rally online and called upon the world to aid Hamas in its war against Israel. This has resulted in a huge controversy in the state. The BJP state president Kerala K. Surendran called for the arrest of the organizers. The BJP in Kerala said that the ruling party in Kerala has trying to glorify Hamas under the guise of quote-unquote Save Palestine slogan. The BJP said that Hamas was a terror group and any connection with it or support to it should be condemned. It's day 24 of the attack that has happened on Israel and the resulting war on it. Well, today marks day 24 since Israel suffered potentially the worst attack in its brief history as a nation. Hamas carried out deadly attacks on southern Israel on October 7th. Here's the latest update from the war front. Israeli military intensify airstrikes in Gaza. Prime Minister Netanyahu announces second stage in the war. Hamas tunnels have continued to pose as a challenge for the IDF. 8,005 Palestinians, including 3,342 children, have been killed in Gaza. Internet phone services restored for some in Gaza. WHO chiefs plea for ceasefire and peace. Meanwhile, Israeli forces strike military infrastructure in Syria. UN warns of growing hunger and desperation in Gaza. Meanwhile, facing sharp criticism from allies and the opposition, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu apologized for an earlier statement in which he blamed the security services for failing to prevent the deadly Hamas attack on October 7th. Benjamin Netanyahu apologized and said that he was wrong in a post on the platform X shortly after deleting his original statement. Earlier, the Premier had posted on social media platform that he had never received any warnings of Hamas war intentions at any stage, stressing that all the security services, including the head of military intelligence and the head of Shin Bet, were at the opinion that Hamas was deterred and wanted to come as a settlement. His comments evoked sharp criticism, following which they were deleted. Several security chiefs have also accepted responsibility for the massive failure, but Benjamin Netanyahu has desisted from taking any blame for it. National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir stressed that the issue isn't merely about specific warnings, but revolves around a flawed overall strategy. He pointed to the policy of containment, the illusion of deterrence, and the high post of seeking temporary peace as the fundamental issues at the core of the problem. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has issued a warning of a prolonged and challenging conflict as Israel's military invasion of the Gaza Strip gets underway. This comes as Hamas demands the release of Palestinian prisoners in exchange for the hostages they seized 3 weeks ago. The United Nations has also raised concerns about the potential for a high civilian casualty count in Gaza. Netanyahu emphasized that Israel has entered a quote-unquote second stage in its operation against Hamas, involving ground forces and expanded attacks. He framed this as a fight for Israel's survival, asserting that they will be victorious. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Saturday, October 28, that Israeli forces had unleashed the second phase of the Gaza war as they pressed ground the operations against Hamas militants, vowing to quote-unquote destroy the enemy above ground and below ground. The Palestinian Red Crescent Society, PRC, has reported that Israeli airstrikes on Sunday severely damaged parts of the Al-Quds hospital in Gaza City. The Israeli military had reportedly made 2 phone calls to the hospital, urging them to evacuate. However, the hospital administration argued that the evacuation was impossible as it housed hundreds of patients, including children on incubators and individuals in the intensive care unit. Many of the approximately 14,000 people seeking shelter at the hospital were Palestinians displaced by the ongoing conflict between Hamas and Israel. The PRCS has accused Israel of intentionally launching airstrikes near Al-Quds hospital, the apparent aim of forcing medical staff, displaced individuals and patients to leave. Videos from the Palestinian Red Crescent depict dust filling the hospital's hallways, with some people seen trying to put on face masks. Well, Israel strikes Gaza's largest hospital. Israeli airstrikes caused extensive damage to the Al-Quds hospital is what we understand right now. There have been targeting of hospitals, which the Palestinian claims is becoming a big humanitarian problem, as several people have sheltered at these hospitals. Hospitals were located in the Gaza city's Tal al-Hawa neighborhood where the strikes have taken place. Israel claims Hamas has command post under the hospital, and that is why they had to go ahead and target these hospitals. Palestinian Red Crescent calls the airstrike deliberate. The PRCS has in fact said that hospitals are being targeted by the IDF. Al-Quds hospital treated hundreds of patients, including children. Approximately 12,000 displaced civilians have sought shelter in Al-Quds. Well, this is the big story that we are tracking as to the attack on the Al-Quds hospital and its effect as we see it now. Thousands of protesters have rallied in cities in Europe in support of the Palestinians as Israel intensified the war on the Gaza Strip. In one of the biggest marches in London, protesters marched through the center of the capital, demanding Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to call for a ceasefire.
The excuse of retaliation or self-defense, it just doesn't cut it anymore. It never did. It's been 75 years of illegal occupation, and it's not self-defense. That the occupation was not self-defense. Keeping people in what is essentially a concentration camp is not self-defense. It never has been.
My fear is that there will be no more Palestine. At the moment, it's not free Palestine, it's safe Palestine. That is my fear, that they will be wiped off existence.
If you wanted to fight someone, just go fight him face to face in a single combat. Don't involve the citizen there. The kids been targeted. The civilians have been targeted in their home. The people that are fighting there, they're not tourists. They're fighting for their lands. So you must act immediately as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. You must act immediately to cease fire, to allow the humanitarian aid to enter Gaza, to save what is left from the people now.
Today is a very dark day in our history because of what is happening in Gaza, and people have gathered here to at least try and bring about a ceasefire and the loss of life. Every minute we waste, people are being killed in Gaza in real time. And I think people understand that, and that's why thousands, tens of thousands of people are gathered here today to try and end that.
Thousands of Palestinian supporters rallied in Sydney on Sunday, calling for an end to the violence in Gaza. Protesters marched through the city to chants of Free Palestine and carried signs and bloody dolls. Earlier in the day, an Israeli march took place with a protest in Sydney's Martin Place that featured shoes, prams and wheelchairs, symbolizing hostages taken by Hamas. Meanwhile, thousands of New Zealanders rallied in the capital Wellington, marching to Parliament House in support of the Palestinian people. Those who attended the rally held placards reading Free Palestine and Palestinian flags while chanting their slogans. Moving on to important geopolitical developments, earlier this year, China helped broker a deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia to normalize relations after a 7-year diplomatic rift. As a key economic partner of many Middle East countries and buyer of both Saudi and Iranian oil, it seemed Beijing had the economic leverage and goodwill to display immediate and future conflicts. In recent developments, China's aspirations as a major player in the Middle East are facing a challenge due to Israel's conflict with Gaza, which escalated after October 7 Hamas attack on southern Israel. This situation has created a complex dynamic for Beijing as it maintains interests on both sides of the conflict. While China has traditionally supported a two-state solution, even provided support to the Palestinian Liberation Organization in the past, it is also Israel's second largest trading partner today. Displaced Palestinians were seen taking refuge under the makeshift tents in Khan Yunis, located in the southern Gaza Strip. Israel's military had previously issued a call for Palestinians in the northern Gaza Strip to evacuate as they anticipated an impending Israeli operation. Israel's rationale for these calls is the claim that Hamas has positioned its weapons and forces among civilians, urging Gaza's residents to relocate southwards for their own safety. This has led to over 1.5 million Gazans leaving their homes for temporary shelters due to Israel's most extensive bombardment to date. Palestinian men bid farewell to a man killed by Israeli forces during raid into West Bank town. An eyewitness said that the Palestinian man named Rama Kotesh threw stones at the Israeli troops, who then responded with gunfire. According to Palestinian Health Ministry, 3 Palestinians were killed by Israeli forces in the occupied West Bank overnight. Meanwhile, there was what we call as the skies in Gaza were filled with thick black and white smoke accompanied by loud explosions. Israeli forces initiated ground operations against Hamas in Gaza, marking what Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described as the second phase of the 3-week-old conflict aimed at defeating the Palestinian militant group. As a result of this offensive, Gaza's residents faced a nearly complete blackout of communications and the internet, which hampered rescue operations. Nevertheless, there are reports that phone and internet services are gradually being restored in Gaza. Meanwhile, there were loud explosions on the Gaza skyline on Sunday, and it's interspersed with the ground battles as Israel expanded ground operations in the enclave. The Israeli military said on Sunday its fighter jets have struck hundreds more Hamas targets in what Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has called the second phase of the 3-week-old war. Medical authorities in Gaza Strip, which has a population of 2.3 million people, said that around 8,005 Palestinians, including 3,324 minors, have been killed in Israel's campaign to obliterate the Iran-backed Hamas militants. Meanwhile, smoke was again seen over the Gaza skyline. Blasts continue to ring out even as an eerie silence can be felt across the strip. The U.S. is in fact also monitoring the situation as of now. The smoke has been rising in many parts of the Gaza area. Blasts continue to bring in even as an silence is present is what we hear. There are large clouds of smoke that have been reported from the area as get pulverized in IDF strikes. Well, that's all in this edition of The Bulletin. Stay tuned to News 9 for further updates.
Literally every major power in the world is gearing up with its own digital currency. And so is India. But India